Welcome back, all you beautiful people in Webtown, to another comic book review from Crypto Comics. Now, this is not an orthodox traditional comic as we think of it. This is actually the Extreme Studios Tour 93. This is when Image popped onto the scene. They were so huge. They were treated like rock stars everywhere they went. And I mean, these conventions back in the mid-90s were off the friggin' chain. You know what I'm saying? Like, talking about Rob Liefeld taking books like this and throwing them in the crowd. They're selling for 50 bucks a pop, you know, 100 bucks a pop. And people going wild like mobs, just like fighting over comic books. It was really an amazing time in comic book history that will probably never be repeated. And I wanted to go through this comic because it is just it's so original, so unique to be able to get an inside look at comic books and the studios that created them. So Extreme Studios was Rob Liefeld's portion of Image Comics. That's where things like Youngblood came out of. And we've talked, you know, I've done quite a few Rob Liefeld books so far in the old videos over at the Testosterone Overload channel, which are now all uploaded to this channel, which is Crypto Comics. And so I'm going to go into the Extreme Studios Tour 93 book because this is just, man, a look at some young kids having the time of their life. From Danny Meeke to Norm Rapman to Rob Liefeld himself. Oh, look at this baby-faced Dan Frega, a young Marat Michaels. Man, this is so freaking awesome. I haven't looked at this in forever. And I'll read these to you guys. Rob Liefeld was born in 1967 in Anaheim, California. Interested in comics from an early age, Rob first began working in comics at the age of 19 and quickly gained attention with his work on DC's Hawk and Dove miniseries. From there, he moved on to Marvel, working on X-Factor, Uncanny X-Men, What If, and several others. Hitting a stride on Marvel's New Mutants, Rob distinguished himself by creating a host of new characters, most notably Cable, Deadpool, and Strife, before bringing the series to a close and triumphantly relaunching it as the record-breaking X-Force series, the second highest-selling comic book in American history, still to this day. In 1992, Rob left Marvel to form Image Comics with several other Marvel artists, and his Youngblood series became the fledgling company's first release, breaking all previous sales records for an independent title. That is true. Since then, Rob has kept himself busy as the creative force behind Extreme Studios, launching Brigade, Bloodstrike, and Supreme, as well as contributing to the upcoming Darker Image and Youngblood Strike File series, as well as the upcoming Image and Valiant crossover, Deathmate. Now, I've already reviewed Darker Image. You can go watch that one. And I've also done a massive hour-long review on Deathmate. So if you want to know more about what was supposed to be a massive crossover that people were waiting with bated breath for and were pretty roundly disappointed in, check out Deathmate. It's quite an interesting story. This is Prophet, just so you know. Oops, Supreme. Okay, this is Brian Murray. Brian Murray was born in 1960 in Franklin Square, New York. He made his entry into comics as a penciler, taking a variety of assignments from Continuity, Armor, Miss Mystic, First Comics, Badger covers, and DC, Young All-Stars number 1 through 10. Brian also contributed pinups to Marvel Fanfare and a Wonder Man story in Marvel Superheroes. Along the way, Brian also found time to work in both animation on Transformers and Ghostbusters and advertising before returning to comics to color Rob's work on X-Force number 4 and 5. From there, he took on the coloring chores on Youngblood and Brigade, as well as the penciling, coloring, and inking chores on Supreme. And Brian Murray has a very unique style, at least back here at Image he did. A lot of heavy ink here, and I actually like this look. This is the coolest Supreme's ever looked, in my opinion. I was not a big fan of Supreme. Alan Moore's work on Supreme, when Rob was basically, you know, ousted from Image and then quickly formed Awesome Entertainment, which is something we'll definitely be talking about in the near future. Supreme, Alan Moore wrote Supreme, and it's raved about by fans still to this day. But this art by Brian Murray is just fabulous, drawn January of 93. Marat Michaels, I love his art too. You know, he's obviously, you know, one of Rob's buddies, and these guys all kind of drew in that Rob Liefeld style. Born in 1972 in Kiev, Russia, Marat Michaels immigrated to the United States in 1978. He was only 6 years old and became an American citizen in 1988. Catching the comics bug after seeing Paul Smith's artwork in X-Men number 173, Marat first began working in comics as a transfer artist, transferring Rob's thumbnails to Bristol board, and later began doing his own work, penciling a ghost job on X-Force number 5. Since then, Marat has emerged as one of the most talented young artists in the field as the penciler of the Brigade miniseries, and now the Brigade regular series. In addition to his work on Brigade, Marat has penciled covers for Elementals number 26 and 27, as well as a Spawn pinup inked by Todd McFarlane. So very, very young in his career still. And yeah, had a very good run. Oh, Frega boom! Dan Frega. I am a fan of Dan Frega's work. Dan Frega's mind is very, very creative. And he got out of comic books for a long time and was involved in directing television. I'm too much of a boomer to even know the name of the show he directed. I apologize, Mr. Frega. God, it's right on the tip of my tongue. It's like the dude from the UK version of The Office, whatever that guy's name is. He had that show for a little while. I believe Dan directed on that show for a bit. Dan Frega was born in 1973 in Walnut Creek, California. Dan moved to Fullerton when he was 18 to become a part of Extreme Studios, and subsequently saw his first work published in December of last year with the release of Youngblood number 0. Shortly thereafter, Dan was tapped to become the penciler of the upcoming Bloodstrike series. Though still a newcomer to the comics field, Dan has already earned a reputation as a dynamic penciler who takes pride in filling each and every panel with as much detail as possible. Dan cites Art Adams and Jim Lee as his favorite comic artists, and lists going to the movies, listening to music, and working out as his favorite ways to spend his spare time. So we're just going to wax the Cuddiac on this. Turn the page to Danny Meeke, inker extraordinaire. This is an Incan god. Born in 1963 in Gardenia, California. Danny came to Extreme last year after spending a couple of years as Art T-Bear's inking assistant on Marvel's Uncanny X-Men and X-Men. Around the same time, Danny also held down a freelance job with Mattel, designing toy cars, motorcycles, and submarines. A talented singer, Danny has also been in a number of bands and has painted drum heads and designed drum cages for bands as varied as Rat and Great White. Wow! You're going to have to look those up if you're under the age of 35, that's for sure. After finding his niche, or his niche, at Extreme as the inker on Youngblood, Danny's tremendous inking talents have since led him to the pages of Extreme and the upcoming Bloodstrike series. Norm Rapman was born in 1968 in Inglewood, California, and later raised in Placentia, where he currently makes his home with studio mate Danny Meeke. The hair should have given it away to us. Norm began his comics career with Extreme last March when he signed on as co-inker of the Brigade miniseries. His dynamic inking styles has since propelled him on to numerous other projects, including the Brigade regular series and the upcoming Youngblood yearbook. Richard Horry, born in 1959 in Los Angeles, California. Coming to comics with an extensive background in advertising, he quickly found a home with Extreme, doing technical drawing and background inking. Since then, he's contributed work to Youngblood, Supreme, and the Brigade miniseries, as well as handling the majority of the art chores on Youngblood Battlezone and the recent series of Infinity backup features. Oh, it's just going to keep rocking and rolling. Oh, Eric Stevenson's, yeah, they couldn't get that camera in focus for that one, poor guy. Born in 1968 in Louisville, Kentucky, he began working with Extreme in March of last year, and now edits many of the image titles produced by the studio, including Youngblood Strikefile, Supreme, and Bloodstrike. A talented writer, Eric has scripted the Brigade miniseries and last year's Infinity backup feature, and handles the writing chores on the Brigade regular series, as well as the upcoming Youngblood yearbook. There's Kurt Hathaway. Man, this is an extraordinary letterer. Give it a big kiss-smack. Born in 1960 in Providence, Rhode Island, his lettering credits include Youngblood, Brigade, Supreme, Shadowhawk, and a host of other titles for Marvel, DC, and many others. Paul Scott was born in 1974 in Riverside, California, and his inking credits include the cover of X-Force number 10, the first installment of the Infinity backup feature, and the Brigade miniseries. Big Chuck Jones, born in 1968 in Los Angeles, California. He'll make his penciling debut later this year with The Hood. The Hood? Wasn't that a DC comic? I'm confused. Did this ever come out? I don't know. Tell me in the comments below if you know if the Hood ever came out. Chap Yape, born in 1973 in Brooklyn, New York. He makes his penciling debut on this year's Youngblood yearbook and will be the regular penciler on the upcoming Youngblood ongoing series. Yeah, very talented young man. Byron Tallman, born in 1972 in Santa Cruz, California. Byron is coloring several upcoming projects for Extreme, including Bloodstrike and Blood Wolf. Just going to keep it going here. You know, I guess Art T-Bear hadn't quite made it to Extreme Studios yet. I don't know if he was actually part of Extreme Studios. I would assume he maybe worked at Homage, but I could be mistaken. There it is, dude. This is the picture of the year. Rob Liefeld and Easy motherfucking E. Straight out of Compton, bitches. Chapel. See? Chapel. Former CIA operative and currently a mainstay with Youngblood's home team, we're excited to have Chapel along to protect us on the Extreme Tour. One of the most popular members of Youngblood, Chapel played a major role in last year's Youngblood miniseries and will be featured prominently in the upcoming Youngblood Strike File. Here's a look at the fellas right here. Just can't help but, dude, what a badass, dude. What a badass. I'm assuming that this is Rob's sister, who did a lot of the business end of Extreme Studios. She didn't get a profile. That's the patriarchy at work, right? You know it's true. Okay, so there we go, man. That's a look at Extreme Studios Tour 93. And over the next week or two, we're not going to necessarily cover Extreme Studios, but we are going to cover a lot about Rob Liefeld's career. We're going to talk about Maximum Press. We're going to talk about Heroes Reborn at Marvel Comics with Jim Lee. And we're going to talk about Awesome Entertainment. So be prepared for that. I am a big fan of Rob Liefeld, even if he did block me on Twitter for just promoting him with the hashtag #MoveTheNeedle. That's okay. Yeah, do what you want, Rob. And I'll do what I want with my money. But I will still continue to talk about your books because I love them. Even the ones with crappy stories that are nonsensical. I still love them. Even if other people didn't. I still love them. So it's okay. I love you, big guy. Yeah, you little cutie pie. All right. I'll see you guys next time on another comic book review from Crypto Comics. Please like. Please subscribe. If you want to, you can share this and help grow the fan base here so that we can continue to carry on. And I'll see you tomorrow. All right.